And we're recording. Welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast, the live version of the What's Up Bro podcast. Once again, we are live. If you are listening to us via audio, just know that you could be watching this whole thing live. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We are live on the Facebook, on the Wubro Facebook page and my comedy Facebook page. So go follow that.
That's just Nery saying, you ain't got no excuse.
You ain't got no reason, son.
There's a million ways to watch this.
I am Nery Signs. With me, as usual, is Mike Mercadal.
What's up?
And today, back from assignment, we have Missy the writer.
From the field.
Yes.
Missy.
Field reporter.
Yeah. So make sure you go watch that, man. Anyways, check us out. We're about to get going. By about to get going, I mean I'm just letting more people come in because we had two, and then we're down to one, which seems about right. I think
that's when people click accidentally.
Yeah.
People who's watching? Can you see who's watching?
No, I can't see who's watching. I would love to be able to do so just so I could get mad at everybody who's not watching.
Well,
but yeah, as long as you have two people watching, everybody can say that there were those two people.
But you know, it's like, even if we get like 6 or 7, or like sometimes like I'll see like my brother streams on Twitch, and he's got like a little crew of people that follow him. He's got like subscribers and everything. And like, if I told you that I did a show where randomly 25 people just walked into a basement bar and watched the show, it'd be like, oh damn, that's a lot of people, you know what I mean? But like, because it's online, if you don't get like 1 million people, it's like, we only got like 36 people. It's like, what? That's a lot of people. That's a lot of eyeballs.
Yeah, that's a lot. And to keep them is the hard part, I think.
Yeah, that's an oversized classroom of people.
Or
watching your shit.
Of people in Miami-Dade County. Just regular old Miami-Dade County. I'm trying to find the page now so I could the post so I can share it. Did anybody here share it?
Share what?
The post.
I just did. Yeah.
Okay.
I
I just asked you one time, buddy. You don't have to.
I just did. Bro, quit asking.
Oh my god.
Damn. Get up off my business. Shit. Can I play angry? I feel like when I get angry, it's like that episode of Seinfeld where Jerry can't get mad.
What do you mean by play? I'm just trying to. I'm confused. Phrasing. Can I play angry? You've been angry for months.
Oh, that's kind of true.
like
yeah. I mean, I feel like, but it's more like I'm genuinely angry at stuff. But I feel like it's like when I get angry on mic, it sounds like it's that episode of Seinfeld where Jerry tries to like get mad, but everyone like laughs because he's like, his voice gets real high, like, and they don't take him seriously.
Can you lose your temper pretty fast?
Not fat. Well, lately, yes. Lately, it's pretty fast. Where it's like, because I only interact in like the highest stress of things, or it's in my apartment alone, and then. But if I'm at the hospital and it's really stressful. It's bad. And then so when I'm at work and someone's like accidentally says something, immediately it's like fuck you. Like, ah.
Yeah.
But not really. Like internally, I'll feel it.
Oh, you don't do it. Oh, you don't express it. Oh, yeah. No, I flipped somebody off in traffic the other day. I think I'm on the edge.
I feel like, see, when I drive, whenever someone does something bad, I don't get mad. I just I don't even flip them off or yell. Like I'll either like if they're close enough and I can make eye contact with them, I'll just look at them and go, like,
you do this,
buddy. You messed up. Or if they're far enough away where I feel like they're not making eye contact with me or looking at me through the mirror, I'll just go, I feel like a thumbs down. Yes, I feel like a thumbs down is much more hurtful than a finger, because a finger implies that you're just like fuck you, you're angry. A thumbs down is like an assessment of your performance.
That's like I'm disappointed.
I'm disappointed. I'm so it's like I'm disappointed.
I expected more from you.
Like wow. Or if they're close and like if we're stopped at a red light and I get to like look over and I just do one of. And then like there's that moment where like, can you get mad? Can you really get mad at someone who's that disappointed in you? Like, I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed.
That's a really.
And then they're thinking about their father or some shit, and then they get real mad or something.
You should do it while the Cats in the Cradle song is playing. Like just
yeah.
I'm not
Nery, when's the last time you lost your temper?
At me now, asking me so many because I asked him so many goddamn questions.
I don't know. I can't recall. The easy answer is to say something about my kids. You know what I mean? Because they test your fucking patience on a daily basis. And like last year, right around I'll say March or April, right when the quarantine first started, I was doing like I didn't catch myself, but I was like stressed at the whole losing my job thing and blah blah blah. And
it's a stressful thing, yeah.
But I didn't know that. So
it
wasn't conscious in my mind. I was like, well, I'm just gonna find a job, I guess. Like I was just doing that. And then when my kids would act up because they were home 24/7, and then I would just yell at them at the drop of a pin. And then my mom, who lives in the efficiency behind, like we literally are separated by a sliding glass door. She was like, "Hey man, I don't mean to tell you how to raise your kids, but you're yelling too much." And then when she brought it up to me, it was kind of like, oh shit, yeah, I did yell. I have been yelling. And that was like I want to say, let's say April for the sake of fucking argument, because I said it was 2 weeks after the quarantine started. So it would have been April. And since then, I've been trying really hard to I went like 4 months without yelling once at my kids. I was like 4 months of but I had
don't hold it in. And then have it
but it's not because it's not one of those things where I wanted to yell. It's one of those things where I was like, I could relay this information. My kids are really
right. You're taking that moment to
my kids are really good about taking in I could have a conversation with them. Even at 3 or 4 years old, I could be like, what does crying get you? And they'd be like, nothing. So how do you get what you want? And they were like, by talking and using your words. And I'm like, okay, so that's I've been doing that for years, for their entire life. And then it was just a moment of I guess, like I said, stress or whatever, that I was yelling at them for no reason. So not that I don't yell at all at them anymore. I don't want to sound like that guy. I never yell at my kids, but it's been a long time. So I want to say the last time I really yelled at them, I don't know, maybe a month or two ago, but it was for a split second. I'll yell and then be like, oh.
But is that But is that the last time you were mad? I mean, not just at your kids. When's the last time you were yelled at an adult?
But that's what I'm saying. But my mad,
yesterday.
My mad isn't the same as my mad. I don't yell when I get mad now.
He does.
I don't. I can't. I fight it with sarcasm and with eye rolling and be like, okay, whatever. Right now with Missy, before we started pressing recording, she was like, turn off that music. That music sucks. And I was like, all right, go fuck yourself. I was in my mind, I was like, go fuck yourself. I don't care. And I used the sarcasm of you like taki, so your opinion doesn't matter to me. That was sarcasm, but I was legit mad. Oh, go fuck yourself. You were playing music when we started too, and nobody said shit about it. So I don't that whole thing.
Don't yuck someone else's yum.
Right. So mad and yelling are two separate things for me. Because I can be mad, but my mad changes into sarcasm. It translates to sarcasm.
Apparently, I was I'm pretty chill. Ooh, sex dolls in the title. Did you win one?
What?
It depends on how loud you yell at us.
We're gonna get
that's our thing. We like to be what is it? The oh god. We like to be disciplined.
Chris Norfolk just commented. He said it's how sex dolls in the title, and he wants to know if you won one.
Those things are a shit ton of money. No,
we are gonna if we had
merch.
If we had enough money to buy one, we'd fucking give it away. We would have used that shit ourselves. How many sex dolls would we have to be able to afford to be able to give one away?
I mean,
really that expensive?
Yeah, they're fucking thousands.
I also there's we could buy parts. You want to buy parts and put one together?
We could buy a fleshlight. A fleshlight costs $80, right?
We could buy a fleshlight and a mannequin leg. We're halfway there. And
so there's this girl that I follow on OnlyFans because she has a free subscription, right? So I follow her.
Subscription.
$2,000.
Yes, thousands. They get even pricier. There's some that are $10,000 that have a whole thing. Yeah. So there's Mike. There's a bunch of women that have free OnlyFans, but they make you pay for every little thing. So it's free,
so it's
and they'll show you tease pictures, and they'll be like, if you want my video, messages are in the inbox.
right.
Check your
It's
inbox.
in-app purchases. Yeah.
Exactly.
I have a question. Do you think that these OnlyFans girls respect, not appreciate, respect as people their subscribers or the people who buy them stuff off wish lists? And
I think some do.
Yeah.
you think they respect like I always feel like you hear a lot about like the positivity towards sex workers and people trying to make a living and people taking ownership over their bodies and being willing, like I respect the sex worker, but I always feel like there's also that same thing. The opposite is true of sex worker patrons. So like if you like go get a prostitute, or if you're like an ethical sex worker patron and you like go to Arizona, where's the one in Nevada, whatever, they had they had the reality show
right here,
but like they're never like they don't respect those guys, right? Like the strip clubs, like strippers in strip clubs don't really respect the clientele there.
That's not true. I have friends, or let me rephrase that. I've made friends that are strippers. By that I mean I have gone to strip clubs before and made it abundantly clear they're not getting a fucking penny out of me. But I talk to them like human beings. I'm like, oh, so how long have you been doing this? Like, whatever, just talk, having a regular conversation. I'm not being grotesque. I'm not being like, hey, what's up,
no,
baby?
I have
that shit.
I know that the balance exists, but in terms of like,
wait, let me get there. Sorry. So then in talking to them, like I've met women strippers who, in talking to them, they've told me like, again, they didn't get a dime out of me. So if they lied to me, it's for no fucking reason, because they didn't get money out of me.
Were you at a place that required you to give money? Because some places do.
Well, strip clubs, if
it's like, a cabaret, you don't.
No, strip clubs in Miami, like if the girl's hanging around you, it's because she thinks that she can get you to spend money at some point or the other, right? Like that's
there's some places that they walk around and you have to tip them, and if they don't, they go to the bouncer and they tell them, hey, this guy's not tipping, this guy's not tipping.
I've never seen that place, and that place sounds awful, and I don't want to ever go there.
Right. I mean, it's not, but it exists. I'm just saying it's real.
So I've been having conversations with these women, and I've talked to them like, oh, these guys creep you out, whatever. She's like, you could kind of tell who the creepy guys are, and if they're drunk or belligerent, they get grabby and shit like that. She's like, but there are times, and she pointed at me. She's like there are times like, no, you just meet somebody and you just have a conversation with, and she's like, and I'm fine with, and that's cool, whatever. But I think to answer that question, I'm using that as an example to say like OnlyFans girls would be, I think that if you're respectful, if the guy is respectful, I think that they do appreciate that. They do respect that guy. They don't respect the show me your pussy guy. They don't I don't think that's a thing to respect.
Sure. I actually, I wasn't that. Yes, that is a question in my mind as well. But also, I'm talking about like people going around and saying like they patronize. I spend $200 a month on OnlyFans subscriptions. Like people would look at that like negatively, as opposed to some guy who pays $200 a month on video games, right?
I think people would look at that negatively too.
They would,
well,
but
it just
one is
depends on
definitely
the stigma.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying is also like, I think you may be right, but my impression of it is that the OnlyFans girls it's like a faceless thing. It's like a list of names. So it's almost like I don't know how I don't know how it works, honestly. But like I've seen streamers, like the Twitch streamers, get blasted on Reddit or Twitter or whatever for being shitty to their subscribers, and these guys, and like treating these guys like shit, and these guys, the simp idea, the simp meme that's going around, that these guys that like will buy some fucking Twitch streamer's bathwater, which was a real thing.
Yeah.
Like,
the stuff you can sell on the internet would boggle your brain.
Yeah, but nobody respects the guy that's buying somebody's used panties. You know what I mean? Like, even though they're providing for this woman to be able to pay her bills.
I don't think respect is a factor. If you know what I mean, like, I don't think.
Let me separate the two. Is it possible to respect the person and not respect that action? So can I respect you, but I don't respect that you bought bathwater?
No.
I'm curious as to how they feel about it. To me, it just sounds like a waste of money. But like, if that completes a person and makes them feel whole, or
to me, I don't judge people who buy panties, for example. Like I kind of understand, especially when they're like, oh, I fucking jizzed in them, whatever the fuck.
I'm just glad I like vanilla, boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed. You know what I mean?
Glad that I'm broke. I'm really glad that I'm broke. Because I like all that crazy, disgusting shit. Like I love all of that disgusting shit. Like I'm not. If I was a multi-100,000-aire, I think.
Oh my god!
I think that I would be that guy to buy fucking panties. I don't know if I would.
Really?
The thought has never crossed my mind because in my mind, the first thing that comes up is money.
Right.
The first thing that comes up is money. Is like, no. Like when I found out OnlyFans was a thing, I was like, I'm not paying money for porn. This porn is free.
Yeah.
And then I found accounts that were like, this subscription is free. And I was like, oh no, I gotta check that out. And then now I'm a guy that checks out free OnlyFans subscriptions. And sometimes they're only free for a month. Sometimes you get full access, but only for a month. And I'm like, I'll fucking do that.
Do you interact with the person?
No.
Oh. No, I thought it was more personalized than that.
I mean, you can. I'm sure you can. I don't. I'm not here to have a conversation with you.
I'm sure there's tears.
I'm here because I want to because my wife was asleep and she doesn't like me to wake her up to having sex.
Chris,
she just feels the
bathwater.
Yeah. You buy so panties is good, but bathwater. See, what a weird line to draw.
Well, I don't think that's a weird line, Michael. I think that's a very good line.
I don't know. I just think it's.
What are you gonna do? Michael Che had a fantastic joke on this past week's SNL. Michael Che, he does the weekend update.
Yeah, sure.
And he talked about this girl who's made over $100 million, like I don't know how many millions, but she's made millions of dollars selling him bathwater. And then he looked at the camera and he goes, which is weird because it doesn't even taste that good. Which was fantastic. That's a great joke. But I don't know if I judge the bathwater thing either. But again, like I said, the thing that always comes up in my head first is money. Like whenever I've gone to a strip club, I've never been that guy to drop $300, $400, $500 of dollars because in my mind, I don't have that money. I know going in there, I don't have money, dude. So I'm going to spend $25 to get in, $25 on our lap dance and fucking call it. Like you're not going to sucker me into more money because I'm already knowing that I don't have it.
I mean, like it's fun or whatever, but it's like going to the auto show. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna go home in this. You know what I mean? Like it's.
I mean,
just looking at it.
I've known plenty of people. I've known plenty of people to fuck strippers in champagne rooms.
They have more money than I do, I guess, because
that's what I'm saying.
Yes, that's true. You're right.
Even then, I've had comedians tell me, bro, like I've gone to strip clubs with comedians and be like, bro, for $200 you can fuck her, and I'm like, I don't have $200. Like I don't, not that I don't physically have $200, is I don't have $200 to spend on this.
Or yes, I would rather spend. I like now that we're like, this is also a weird time because now I'm not going out. You know, like during COVID times, I feel like I've saved money and like made money because I'm still working in the hospital. Granted, my mental health is collapsing and my body is falling apart, but hey, I've been able to pay off my bills. But the idea that I'm in a luxurious position to have my income not be affected in any way. Genuinely, I do feel lucky about that. But I'm also not going out. I'm not doing anything else. So I am buying like random. I bought fucking $500 worth of camping gear and spent one night out in the woods without a fire like an idiot.
Did you not return that?
You didn't go back out there.
No, I got another trip planned for March. I'm gonna go back out there. But like, I wish I was out there right now. Part of me wants to be out there in like the fucking crazy snow. Anyone know? Hey, there are people that are sexually attracted to inanimate objects, including vehicles and cars. They probably go to the auto show like it's a strip club, and they're like sitting in it. Like
we got to show the listener. We got to show the listener. We got to tell the listener because the listener who's listening to this audio-wise doesn't understand. So, Chris, thank you, Chris, for participating. And for those of you who are not participating, if you listen to us, if you watch us live, you too can participate and comment.
Yeah, you're part of the show.
So Chris says, know anyone who fucks the car at the auto show? And solid question, I think. Again, I'm a super freak, dude. I like all kinds of freaky shit when it comes. Like I've made that joke on stage, and it's been really true when I go to a porn site and they go, "You might like this," and I'm like, "What the fuck? What kind of craziness?" Oh, okay, yeah, no, I can see.
How did they know?
I've been that guy. Like I've been that guy when they first started throwing out fucking like, "You might like this." Mom fucks a daughter, and I'm like, "Whoa, what the fuck did I Google that made the algorithm?"
Yeah.
Like I were like, "This is fucking sick." Why would I do it? Like I never understood why I got that. You might like. Now I understand because I've watched hours upon hours of it. So now it makes sense. But the first time was confusing. The first time was like,
oh boy. I will say,
I don't know, but I'm broke, so that I think that takes.
Missy, what are your porn recommendations the algorithm throws at you?
Not what Nery gets for sure. For sure. What I was gonna say though before is that I think if your kink is bad, like if you want your kink bad enough, you will pay a stupid amount of money. And I think that's where these girls, these women sex workers make money, is that they capitalize on that, because if there's a kink that you really want to get off on, you're gonna pay for it. Hence the $2,000 sex dolls. Somebody's fucking buying them. There was even a PayPal link, like paying for installments. That exists because it works. So,
well, I mean, people
Again,
are lonely out there.
Again, if I was a multi-100,000 I would legit be buying fucking panties. I'm like, yeah, it's
correct. So
you know what you need to do? Buy GameStop stock, baby. Get on that GameStop.
Chris says, you think it's sick, then the dick twitches. Now you're confused. We've all been there.
Oh my god, I love that's it. One of my favorite lines in Community, when the dean is like, "This better not awaken anything in me."
Oh my god, yes.
That's the feeling.
Yes.
Where you're like, "Oh, I hope this isn't the thing."
But I've also been on the other end of that, where I'm like, well, let's see if this turns me on, and then you go, nope. That did nothing. That did not do it for me.
Well,
and then live and learn. And now we know that peeing on people does not do anything for me.
I did watch like two. I told Nery about this a few months ago, that I was watching a porn and it was so bad that I just had to stop and change it, because I was offended that they let that shit on there, because the girl was doing an awful job, ma'am. She was doing an awful job, and it was so distracting that I was like, click next.
Like she was a bad performer?
No, this was like amateur porn, which isn't my thing, but this is where I landed. And
you like production, you like a little production value. You're like what's his name at the beginning of Superbad, where he was like, I want to see some if I'm gonna pay for it, I want to see some production value.
It really, if I'm being completely honest, it highly depends on the fan fiction I'm reading, and then that kind of sends me on my way. But yeah, fan fiction. But what?
We'll come back to what you mean by fan fiction.
It's such a bookworm that you're like, your porn depends on what you're reading. I think that's fucking fantastic. I think that's such a great thing. It's so fucking great. Like,
it's my truth.
Hey man, I love it. I think it's fantastic.
I can't do it. Funny. So I ended up going down to this video, and the girl, it was bad. Like her rhythm was off. The guy was trying to help her. She kept fucking up, and I was like, ma'am, no, exit. And I never thought that a bad porn.
Kardashian sex tape.
No, I was not watching the Kim Kardashian.
It's really bad. She's not good.
Not worse than Paris Hilton. Get out of here. Paris Hilton is
she's pretty bad.
Sleeping. She's sleeping.
I mean,
she's the girl. She's the girl from Forgetting Sarah Marshall that Jason Segel's on her.
Right.
I just.
And then he just like look. I came.
That was Paris Hilton subtitles. As in
subtitles for what?
Chris, what do you mean by subtitles? You mean like watching porn and there's subtitles underneath you?
I'm not sure. But
so you're saying you switched it, and then that's when you realized that's the kind you like, or that's the kind
what is it? So wait, I'm still struggling with. So you like what was recommended to you by the this is what you like, the way you did you seek this out, or was it something that was like the search terms brought like this is what you got, or was it in the recommended for you section?
I think it was in the recommended, and it looked interesting, and then I was like, that's not gonna work. And
so you want someone who's trained to be in this pornography?
But you can't take me out of the scene. I need to believe you.
That's true.
And,
That's true.
and if you're bad.
This is a woman who didn't question how many times they put fuel on a plane from DC to Baghdad. So if you take her out of the fucking scene, man,
It's true.
it's pretty
It's
bad.
true. What about like you know what, I see it all the time, but that section that says porn for women, have you ever seen like I you know, like
No,
I just
there is-
instinctively don't click on it because like, oh, I guess that's not for me. And then,
No, because there is so I'm not well versed on this. I've just heard from other friends, but there's like ethical porn, which supposedly, well, not supposedly, YouPorn is not ethical porn. So there's another website called Bellesa.com, something like that, where it's like women who have made supposedly, which I think it's marketing for real, but
their own amateur pornography.
that I'm actually not all amateur. There's some professionals in there, and some of the shit in there is a little startling because I get people liking it rough, but then like again, it's not my kink. Like violence isn't my kink, but some of these women really like to get the shit beat out of them.
Again, there's something to be said for like enjoying sex that doesn't involve you choking or or being choked and then having an accident. Like, I'm not going to end up like the dude from NXS or the fucking guy from Kung Fu.
Okay, but there is there's a spectrum to this. So in my TikTok education, I stumbled across
what a phrase. TikTok education.
Well, because your algorithm, I honestly do not know how I ended here, but I ended up on BDSM TikTok. Now it's TikTok, so you're not seeing anything. It's just people talking about it.
Sure.
And then from that rabbit hole, I landed on a quiz.
Big TikTok.
Yeah.
I landed on a quiz that tests
one of those.
No, not one of those. Well, maybe, but the BDSM was like, it's a quiz that tests your spectrum. Apparently, it's a spectrum, and there's like really like things that I would consider really extreme, and then other stuff that I'm like.
But I think everything is a spectrum, isn't it?
Well, that's what I'm saying is that the spectrum of like a guy spanking you with a leather belt, not my thing. Sorry, I'm walking away.
What about with a hand? What about with a hand? Is that your thing? Is that all right?
Spanking is okay as long as it's not violent. I think there's like there's a line.
I think there's a line between like people who, you know, like people like like the people who are turned, like again, the dick twitches, right? Something awakens in you. Chris Norfolk reading porn with subtitles. I'm drunk. I might have missed something. My fault. Don't worry about it. Enjoy your drink. And
we're gonna send you a case of alcohol, bud.
But the idea of, and then it's gonna be delivered by a robotic sex doll. The idea that you're into something that isn't conventionally, like where they used to call it deviant, right? Like because it deviates from the normal. Correct. But the people who made the rules said that if you're not like having missionary sex through a sheet, you're deviating from the whatever. If you the laws against sodomy and shit
through a sheet, Jesus,
that happens on The Handmaid's Tale.
That's a super religious thing, like a Mormon or Jewish or Mormon thing.
And there's the Handmaid's
There's a sheet with a hole in it.
Yes, sir.
Or they put like half a sheet on the top half of the body.
Why is he laughing, Michael?
I'm surprised you've never heard of this.
So ridiculous to me. That's such a waste of time and energy. Like, wait, get the sheet. Hold on, we gotta.
If you're groomed from a young age to be convinced that sex is only for procreation, then sex isn't supposed to be fun. So the sheet makes sense.
I had a girl ask me to choke her once, and I was okay with but she made it clear she put her hand on my hand, and as I was squeezing, she stopped right there.
Correct.
I was like, that's enough pressure. And to me, it's so funny because I was like, this isn't really choking. This is just me holding your neck with my hand.
There's a technique to it.
Your head, I
remember she was on top, and I was like, this isn't really choking. This isn't really.
And I will tell everyone out there, don't go for a wind choke. You go for a blood choke. You don't squeeze the front. You squeeze the sides. Otherwise, you're gonna do a wind choke. You could damage her larynx
and kill her. You can actually kill her or him.
But that's the thing. If you get you getting aroused by something that is quote unquote deviant has changed through the years. You know, me being attracted to a black woman would have been deviant at some point, and to some people still is not right. But like the idea of
I just picture all the Cuban parents like, no, that's not.
yeah, right. I don't know, man. That'll be on the next episode of Oh the Cubanity where we
Interracial
like,
couples.
I guess I don't know, but that's come up in other stuff. Like that does come up in Cuban families. Like,
Of course it does.
like that below the surface racism that's reactionary. You know, like they're not overtly racist, but the second you bring up like everyone has done the pointing at the wrist and the everybody
that's a Hispanic thing, right?
Huh?
You know that's a Hispanic thing?
If
So I've done this to the listeners or to the viewers, right? Hispanic people have this thing where you go, oh, like, and I'll use the phrase in context. I'll say, oh, did you meet so and so's new girlfriend? Yeah, how was she? Oh, I've never met her. How was she? She's all right, but she's and then they do this where they start rubbing their index finger on their hand. And I've asked my friends who are white, I've asked my friends who are black what that means. I'm like, what do you, and I've used that same sentence. What does it mean if I say, oh, how's his girlfriend? She's all right, but she'll do this. And they have no idea. My white friends and black friends have all said, they're like, I don't know, gay? What is that? They have no idea what that means. And I realized that that's only a Hispanic thing. But again, by my very small sample.
Is it all Hispanic things or just like a Cuban thing? Because
it's Hispanic.
Is it a Miami thing?
I'm not Cuban, so I don't know what to tell you. I know
it's true. Yeah, you know it. But like, is it a Miami thing?
I don't.
There's
again,
a thing
because it's only Hispanic people, and not only is it only Hispanic people, but it's never taught to us. My mom never taught it to me. My mom never said, this is what this means. It's just something that we all learn. Like somehow we just all know. I've asked other Hispanic friends, did somebody teach you what this meant? And they've thought about it and they've said, no, nobody sat down and be like, when a guy does this, that means that the person is black. And I'm like, wow, that's fucking weird.
It's the shit that you pick up in context, you know? Rednecks do it too. That's Chris Norfolk, MVP of the episode.
Yeah, we should have him on.
That's not just a Hispanic thing. Seen it for years on my redneck ass relatives. So it's just racists, right?
Again, but maybe you're right. Like I said, my disclaimer before was on my very small sample sizing of me asking my white and black friends. I have yet to meet a white or black friend that understood that, and I was like, oh wow, that's fucking weird.
It's interesting because like I don't know how we got onto this thing, but like getting turned on.
We were talking about porn.
Yeah, but the idea of like what is deviant behavior, not just sexually now, but like just in general, like the kids, we are all living deviant lives because we're sitting in front of computers all day, not going outside. Like we're all of those basement dwelling losers
buddy, I am leaving a deviant. If you see my porn history, it's very deviant. I'm
trying to take it away from the porn, but here we go.
He's trying to fix it, bro. Jesus.
I was trying to take it.
We're all living deviant lives, and you're trying to convince me how we're living deviant. I'm like, I know I'm living a deviant life.
I don't
like,
think there is.
We get it. You're a gross piece of shit.
This is how good.
You're such a disgusting man.
This is how good the porn algorithm.
Are you jerking off right now? Hands up. Show me your hand. Hands on the table.
This is how good the porn algorithm is. The other day, Pornhub was like, not Pornhub, but whatever the fuck I use was like, we think you'd like this, and it's pregnant women having sex, and I was like, what?
Is it a badge of honor that you're like?
I feel that weird because my wife is pregnant. I'm like, my wife is pregnant. How do these fucking people know that my wife is pregnant? How do they know that? I'm like, how?
They're listening on your phone, dummy.
And I'm like, does anybody else get this as a suggestion, or is it just dudes whose wives are pregnant?
I literally want to die. Get me out of here.
Fuck, I forgot that. I forgot that Vanessa was pregnant.
Did you catch what I was? I was like, oh, and I'm like watching.
No, I was just thought you were bragging about how gross you are.
Laying down in my bed, and I look next to my wife, and I'm like, did you sign me up for some shit? Like, I'm like, what is going on?
She's outsourcing.
This is what happens when you accept cookies.
It's true.
That is weird. But yeah, no, I think I'm just saying that like Even the buying the bathwater, there's nothing inherently like
Wrong.
sexual or even sexual about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like
That's like a kink.
exactly. Like it's not even a sexual thing. Like I don't think kink like it's not even a sexual thing. Like getting the shit beat out of you, like by a partner, and like like some people just like getting beat, and I don't get that. I don't get that either.
Do not. I can't because it's not. I can't handle that shit.
I told you that
disturbing.
story. I think Nery. I don't know if I should tell it on the air, but I told Nery a story about a girl that was like, punch me in the face. And I was like, nope. And I put my mid act got up and walked out.
Okay, but see, I don't think there's anything wrong with that because you're not willing. I think what the idea
there's
is,
more to the story that I don't want to say.
What? Thank God you said that part because I thought you said there's nothing wrong with wanting to get punched in the face. I thought that's where you were going.
No,
like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm like,
no.
What?
What all that situation showed is that you were not compatible with this girl. That's it. Because if there's two consenting adults, if you're willing to get up mid act because that was enough, I think for sure you're not compatible there.
There's more to the story. I'll tell you afterwards, but there's more to the story because that proved that I was correct to follow my instincts to get up and go.
Well, I can't wait, but I think that that's just really what it is.
What the fuck, man? I'm here. I'm here. Tell me the story. What the fuck, bro?
And I think that all kinks are fine. It's just that there's personal preferences. There are certain people that
matter.
I don't think that all kinks are fine, though. I do think that some are like some are potentially dangerous, and that is inherently part of the kink.
But if you're okay with that, if you have consent for that, it's okay. If that's your kink, if you like getting punched in the face, and the guy like punching her in the face, then that's okay. Like Missy said, you two just weren't compatible for that.
Listen,
there are people. Her brain and CTE would be compatible for her sex life because she's gonna get a fucking someone's gonna do it. Well, I don't want to get into
exactly.
That's what you're thinking, but okay. So when you're talking about like the dominant and the submissive relationship in a BDSM world, if you take that like scenario outside of the BDSM world, it's a fucked up abusive relationship. It doesn't make sense. It's
I blame 50 Shades of Grey.
It's not 50 Shades. Actually, the BDSM community.
Yeah, I know.
BDSM, the BDSM community fucking hates 50 Shades of Grey because he breaks
consent.
He not only breaks consent, but what they've said, and there's like YouTube videos about this, it's that people that are into BDSM, no matter how far your spectrum goes, whether it's choking or getting like beat, whatever it is that is your thing, people that are in the BDSM community genuinely enjoy it. It's not because of XYZ. And in the movie and the shitty fucking story, the books, I never read them. I did watch the movies, but I was going through a rough time. In the movies,
you're talking about people buying bathwater. You can watch a shitty movie.
In the movies, he's like, oh, it's because I was abused or what XYZ, and then that's why he has a deviant kink. And people in the BDSM community are very passionate about the fact that it's not because everybody has trauma,
some people could fit that category, but it's not right.
It's not unreasonable, but to make it a blanket kind of reasoning is not fair to the BDSM community. So they fucking hate that whole mess because it doesn't represent that at all. But yes, it is a complete dumpster fire. I read the Twilight books and I couldn't get to the fucking 50 Shades books. I could not do it.
Man, I had to have that conversation of is that because where I used to work, it was being passed around. Like people were like, "Oh, it's fucking 50 Shades of Grey," huh? And I'm like, "Hey, if that's pornography for these, like that's essentially like pornography.
It's like naughty.
It's erotica. It's pornography. It's with the intent to arouse. So I'm not like, if I just walked around and openly handed people Penthouse magazine, a Hustler, I'd be like, "Yo, check this week's one out." You know, there would be a completely different approach because
Reaction.
visually, you're not showing like, but the cover, you know, like let's say I had it like covered, and then someone went to management and was like, "Mike is trading pornography with people." I would be in trouble, but everyone was just passing around these fucking
That's
50
true.
Shades books.
I'm just
That's
laughing.
totally true.
What a
I'm
crazy
laughing at
double
the idea.
standard.
I'm laughing at the idea of Mike going to HR, and HR is like, "So I see. So you've been passing around this dirty magazine," and she opens it up, and the cover is of a dirty magazine, but the inside is a sports almanac.
Great sports almanac. That's right, baby.
And they're like,
Ooh la la, indeed.
Oh my god. Yeah. Ooh la la, indeed.
Oh boy.
Well,
That's all I
the
thought
point
about
is
it.
that
I pass it around, and I just you put this in your back pocket, and you never let it go. You hear me? You never let it go. And one day there's gonna be a scientist and a kid, and they're gonna come around looking for this.
that's well.
That's so wild.
Going back to your question from like 20 minutes ago, Mike, I think that the OnlyFans thing, like a sex worker respecting their OnlyFans, I think that falls under like any kind of transactional exchange of goods. Like, does Burger King respect their customer? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know that it's a global
I understand.
conglomerate. I'm just saying, like,
I've worked fast food restaurants, and I've been that guy who can be like, "Oh, hey, here's your thank you, thank you, young person, or thank you, whatever, blah blah, for buying, for thank you." And then I've also been that same guy who's like, and like been giving the food to the drive-thru and be like, "There you go, fat ass," like fucking. Like, I've been that guy, so I didn't respect one customer, but I respected another customer. And I've been that guy with fast food where you go, I respect this person and blah, blah, blah. And then I don't respect this other person. I think it boils down to if you're creepy about it or not.
I think it also boils down to the fact that there is a level of hypocrisy when it comes hypocrisy.
That's the title, Nick, title of the episode.
Hypocrisy. There is a level of hypocrisy that these people deal with that would make me super jaded and not respect you. For instance, there's a TikToker that went viral, and Fox News, I think I told the story once, Fox News pulled her TikTok and aired it to shame her, and then her membership went up something like 200% overnight.
Sure.
I respect the people that are going to pay shame her for being on OnlyFans?
You're talking about the nurse girl from New York?
I don't know. There's been so many, but yeah, one of those instances, Fox News was like, "Look at this."
It's like when the pandemic first started, and they were like, "Look how," like, it was before everybody had an OnlyFans. It was just like, "Look at this despicable person getting money on OnlyFans," and everybody's out at home like, "Yeah."
So if you're dealing with that level, of hypocrisy, if you're dealing with that level or hypocrisy, I wouldn't respect you either, because the fuck.
Well, I guess what I'm really asking is that people will shame. So like the sex worker positivity movement has been very important. I respect it. I do. But there's also this side where people will still like make fun or shame a person who patronizes a sex worker, which I think is an imbalanced thing. Like they'll make fun of a dude where it's like, this guy's got to probably pay to fuck. And it's like, wait, but aren't we like, that's a good thing now, right? Because we respect, like, I respect her enough to pay for how good it is. Like if you're good at something, don't do it for free. Like like the consumer gets shamed for consuming the product that we're supposed to support the producer for. You know what I mean?
Here. In Europe, in Amsterdam, there's tons of countries that look at sex completely different way, and sex workers in completely different way, where that's not the case.
I understand, but there's the positivity, the sex worker positivity movement here is growing without there being like the equal, like for the people who
you're saying that the business of applauding the sex workers here in the United States is going up at a faster pace than that of the respect for the person who's paying for the sex worker.
Right.
So it's kind of like an imbalance of like respect the sex worker. Look at that.
But then like, look,
motherfucker paying for sex.
right? Yeah, and I think
I understand now.
you know what I mean.
It.
Like,
yeah.
There's that, like they're really applauding the person who's the sex worker, but not they're like shaming the person who patronizes.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
It's true.
I find the people who shame the purchaser also shame the product.
Well,
and I think about quote unquote conservatives.
No. I'm talking about.
I say quote unquote because they're like, sex is between a man and a woman, and that dude in the bathroom, in the airport bathroom, that I tapped my foot on the floor for.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. But again, I understand. I'm not talking about conservative. I'm talking about the people who are liberal and progressive and supporting of the women who are doing this, but they'll still have a stigma against the guys or people who will support. Like I feel like I should disclaim that I don't patronize sex worker. I don't go to sex workers or anything like that.
Why would you feel like you need to disclaim that?
Because I'm defending the sex worker guy a lot. But honestly, like part of me wonders, like, if I were to, like, if you were to be an open patron of sex workers, like you were, so that's why, because you so openly said that you subscribe to this person's OnlyFans,
right? And
I was like, free. Oh, that's interesting. Free. You're also, yes, disgusting, blah 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 blah. Yeah, right. And then
free. I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
I don't want people to be like, this motherfucker's complaining about not having a job for the last year, and he's fucking paying for OnlyFans, and then free.
Right, but is there, like, why is that a stipulate? Like, oh well, I don't pay money for it. I just look at the shit that you post. That's almost worse.
No, it's my stipulation, because when people say things to me, like I've had friends recently in the last year, like fantasy football, for example. They're like, hey, we're paying fantasy football up front this year. And I'm like, well, I don't have money. I lost a job, so I don't want, you know what I mean, just to give it a small sampling of, like, people are like, oh, you don't have money for fantasy football, but you have money for fucking OnlyFans. Like, no, free.
Right.
I just want to make the guy think I'm like, yeah. You know what I mean? It's like,
you're the guy that goes around Costco and has a full fucking 7-course meal from all the freebies.
Only the food court.
Only since March of last year. Huh? Only since March of last year. Because before March of last year, I was balling. I was like, let's go to Costco. Hot dogs for everybody. Let's go. On me. But you want a pizza instead of a hot dog? My man.
Now you're like,
the cheese.
To your kids, you're like, here, put this hoodie and glasses on. Go get some samples for daddy. I've been there 3 times. They already recognized me.
Yeah. So again, just after March, I just don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's always funny when you see a guy complain about not having money, and then you see him spending money on shit.
Yes.
You go, oh, get the fuck. You just said you were broke. That's what I want to avoid with me, which is why I say it's free OnlyFans, because I don't want people to be like, you were complaining about, I paid for your lunch last week, you motherfucker.
I remember that happened to me one time when I was living with roommates, that this person was always complaining about, hey, the rent's due on the first. And, I was like, yeah, fine. But then she was also complaining about how short she was always on rent, and because she was an actress and it was always short. And then she was always harassing me. And then one day I go to pay her. That same day, she comes home with a duvet cover that costs as much as the rent check I had just given her. And I was like, what? You've harassed me for this money. It's since before it was due.
Can I ask you to tell the story of that time where you had a roommate and your roommate was complaining about never having money, and then when you looked at the bill, you saw there was a fucking donut shop every fucking morning, spending money on a donut shop?
Oh,
that's a vague story. That's a vague.
I know you're being vague. Yeah.
But I'm just, if you don't want to tell it, don't tell it. But I think that's a fucking hilarious story. Where I was in a
relationship. I was in a relationship where, my partner was complaining about money all the time and all this stuff, and I was like, well, let's take a look.
And gaining weight.
And just complaining about that too. But the idea being that I was always like, I'm really like, I had to get my shit together with money, because I was really, but now I'm great. My credit score is like 800.
We get it. You're rich. You're poor. We get it.
No, hey, man.
I'm not rich.
Come get COVID and deal with all the mental trauma.
Oh,
come do that.
Come have a family and not have money to feed them. Come deal with the mental trauma of that.
I got my nuts snipped, so I wouldn't have to deal with that shit,
You want
man.
to get a fucking pissing contest?
Remember how we were getting angry at each other?
No, but you're doing a Chandler.
But the point of the thing is that I would always be like, well, let's take a look at your money. Why are we not, like, let's take a look at the thing. We were supposed to be on this diet together. Like, let's look at your expenses. Let's find where we can cut things. And then there was always resistance. And then when finally we looked at it, every day on the way home, she'd been going past this expensive ass cupcake place and eating a cupcake every day. Or multiple, who knows how many.
Like,
and
how expensive? Like $10 a cupcake?
Like $7 a cupcake. And
oh my God.
and
Missy, the face Missy had. She's like,
wait, it's like a fucking kidding?
What do you think expensive is? And then when you gave her the price, she's like, oh no,
that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And then like
because New York expensive and Miami expensive are different.
Very
I
different.
wanted a frame of
Now,
reference.
Here's the reality. If you're enjoying it, having a cupcake every day, go ahead, that's fine. But then don't complain about the direct results of paying for expensive cupcakes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like that was always like, I struggled with that also too when I have to make decisions because then you realize you're like, oh my God, I'm the one that's like, that's the one thing I've noticed. It's not that I don't mind being fat. I hate feeling fat. There's like two, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like those are two very different things. So when I'm feeling fat, it's when I'm like, I don't want to do all this. When I am fat and enjoying it, those are two very different vibes.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Where I'm like,
God, eating, and then when you're not eating.
Yeah.
Because when you're eating, you're enjoying being fat. But when you stop eating, you no longer have the fucking instant gratification of the delicious food in your mouth. And now you look at yourself and go, God, I'm gross.
Part of it's that, but part of it's also not doing get the saladayana, like that you have you have to have some self-discipline, some self-control, some like you have to that is not an easy thing. That's why like people who have addictive personalities fall into a lot of traps. People who have obsessive disorder, not obsessive compulsive disorder, but like people who have just kind of like compulsive nature, they do things not because they're enjoying it, but because they feel like they have to. When I feel Chris Norfolk, I don't shame McDonald's, but if you eat Big Macs every day, there's a level of shame. So when I was at my heaviest, when I was like 300 and whatever pounds, I was eating McDonald's for breakfast and lunch and eating like 2 of everything at each meal. Like it was not a mystery as to how I got there.
One of my favorite things is when I first went to hang out and stay with Mike in New York. He literally lives, not exaggerating, across the street from White Castle.
Yeah.
I don't mean down the block. I don't mean like it's a short 10-minute walk. I'm talking about literally his building is on this fucking corner and you cross the street, there's a sidewalk and there's a fucking White Castle right there. And him and I remember because I went to New York. We don't have a White Castle here. I'm like, let's get White Castle. And we got so much food. And I posted it on Instagram or Facebook, whatever it was at that time. And then Oni, our friend of ours, was commenting. He goes, you guys are eating as if you're fucking high. You guys are eating like you're potheads, which would be fine if you were potheads, but neither one of you smokes.
So sober, baby. So sober. But yeah, that's like, so the point being is that a lot of people, like, I understand that feeling. Like I love like when I was, and like when I had lost a bunch of weight, then I was strict. I ate the same thing. I lost 100 pounds at one point, and I ate the same thing every day for like 6 months, and then for like 8 months, even like longer, I was eating really, really strict. And then once I had lost all that weight, I went into the fire academy and I was just hungry all the time. And then that was when I was working out every day. So I didn't, it didn't bother me that I was gaining weight.
Right. But the whole thing is to say, listen, man, if you're going to complain about something, then don't be the one perpetrating your downfall. Right. So if you're going to complain about being broke, then you can't go out and buy fucking duvet covers or fucking, $8 cupcakes. You can't be doing that.
Or do it, but don't complain.
Exactly, which is the reason why I wanted to fucking free OnlyFans. When I
What a long way around to be like, I am paying for
whole
this
way
shit.
to be like, listen, I don't want you to be telling people that I pay for OnlyFans because it's fucking free.
Should we do the Am I the Asshole?
Oh, yeah, let's go ahead.
Can we do the Robo Cheater first?
Did you find the actual article? So we have to talk about at least the headline because we did talk about sex dolls a bunch. That you had found this article headline that someone had. What was it?
Yeah, I got it.
Confused
Bodybuilder.
wife. Oh no.
Bodybuilder who married a sex doll has admitted he cheated on her while she was away being repaired. I do like the idea that he can differentiate between the fact that she is not that needs repair, but not that he did cheat on her.
What
is this? You sent me. What is this video? Is this the guy?
Yeah, that's the guy. He found a new kink. He found a new kink. How much hair does he have? Yeah. But if you keep scrolling after that, you can see the fucking story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Don't even tell me.
I mean, good for him that he's getting his 15 minutes of fame, but it's for fucking a doll or whatever. Or marrying. Sorry.
It's not even for marrying her. It's for cheating on her.
Bro, we can't even get this is why everybody thinks all men are dogs. Like he's just fancy masturbating.
That's my wife. Fancy masturbating is
which in our group chat, I knew exactly what I was doing and I was not disappointed. I said, what constitutes fancy masturbation? To which Mike said, you hold your pinky out.
No, that was Nery. Nery holds his pinky out default.
I literally, because I don't have a big dick. I gotta do that. I gotta do that. Because I don't have a big dick, but I got really thick fingers. I got really thick fingers. So it's not enough.
Do you know what the worst part?
This move is great.
You know what the worst part of running away is that you're still in my ear. So it doesn't fucking matter that I ran away.
No, it's this
there.
move. This is so funny.
God. This is such a fucked up.
Oh man.
I got really thick fingers, man.
No,
I get it.
We get it.
I said that this is, but like it's an inanimate object. It's made to look like a doll or whatever. It's made to look like.
I thought fancy masturbation was masturbating with a cummerbund.
It's where you wear. Actually, a British friend of mine who does comedy. He's like, oh, a fancy wank is when you jerk off with a condom on, so you don't have to clean up. So you just. Yeah.
Don't die, Chris. We need you.
But a fancy wank is this is gonna be such a fucked.
This should be a t-shirt.
This is gonna be the clip that you share on fucking social media.
But a sex doll is just fancy masturbating, right? Like a sex doll is just you jerking off, like a fleshlight with the rest of it. You know, like
I don't. But
it's what it is.
But is it even? How is it illegal? Marriage?
It's not. It's clearly not.
Is it really cheating if she's a robot?
My wife says it's cheating. He's like, look, even this bitch can't fucking get a faithful guy. Like she's so like
my wife was God.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And she was like in the thread where she found it, whatever Facebook group she was on or whatever Reddit she found this story on, a lot of women are saying the same thing. Like, not even this bitch could fucking, like, she fucks him whenever he wants. That's and he's still cheating, whatever. And I'm just like, but it's not cheating. And my wife seems to be, I don't know if she's doing this to be argumentative or to be a contrarian, but my wife seems to be under the belief that she thinks that it is cheating because in his mind, he's married to this person. To this
right.
thing. So in his mind, even though the rest of us don't validate this marriage, in his mind, he's married. So if he's fucking somebody else, he's cheating.
So if somebody say, like, let's just make up a scenario where somebody would look at you in your face and tell you, I don't feel married anymore. And then they cheat. Is that cheating? They didn't feel married.
I mean, he genuinely did a ceremony. Like he did some sort of ceremonial thing. I don't know. I mean, who knows who, like, it's not possible. If you use the left hand, is it cheating if you use the right hand? So no. The idea of if you're blessed, you use both. Aside from all of this,
happening. There's so much happening. I cannot. Stop.
oh no.
Oh God. I'm not looking.
It's long enough for 8 fingers, but not 10.
Oh, I cannot.
It's like now it gets a whole new meaning when someone's like, "Give me 3 fingers of whiskey," and then they're like,
"Oh my
God." You know, my favorite part of this article. I scrolled all the way down, and the first comment is just someone named Unemployed 40. Very strange man! Exclamation point in all caps.
I like the fact that Missy looked at me like, Nery, was that you?
That is not how I was looking at you.
Missy said Unemployed 40. Missy was like,
no.
This guy,
this motherfucker is
made an account.
I was judging the guy who went online and said, "Man, you know what would be a great screen name? Unemployed 40."
But you know what I love? The irony of this guy being judgmental of the other
With
guy.
That screen name.
Very strange guy. I should know because I'm unemployed and 40.
Oh man. Oh boy.
Well.
Okay. Good luck to them in their relationship. I hope they can get through these troubled times.
How do you go to marriage counseling for that?
You don't. It's a fake thing. He's doing it for show and weirdness. Like it's all a thing. It's social media stuff. He's from Kazakhstan.
Where do you file the paperwork if she wants a divorce? How does she ask for a divorce?
I don't know. That's starting to sound real predatory, doesn't it?
You download it into her PDF. There's a PDF, so you download into her.
Like the Matrix.
You just and you're like, you're divorced.
And then you give her the wrong one. She knows kung fu and rips your dick off. Like, whoops! I downloaded the wrong program.
She'll realize that they're divorced when she ends up in a fucking garbage heap. She's like, I don't think this is working out anymore.
Now, to be fair, so like, how much you think that's got to be a cumbersome lifestyle? That doll's got to weigh.
Cumbersome is a good word.
It's very heavy. Okay, so I saw one of these. Remember Real Sex on HBO? Remember those things? They had a thing where they showed that not only the people buying them, but how they made them. And again, this is 15 years ago, so I'm sure the technology has gotten better. But it was like super heavy, like this. It weighed like 80 pounds or something. Like that's a fucking heavy.
80 pounds is of dead weight.
I think it was even more. But yeah, or something crazy where like they said like once one of the guys who bought one on TV on HBO said, yeah, once I put her in that position, she's kind of just gonna stay there. Like he was like, I'm not. It's a lot of fucking work because it's a lot of work.
I'd like to imagine that there's a scientist out there trying to figure out the balance, because it's got to be light enough to move around, but it's got to be heavy enough to feel like a body.
Somebody that read Masters of Sex and was like, you know what? I should be more research on this.
Or like someone out there, like in like a lab somewhere, is like, I've done it. I've discovered the lightest possible rubber for sex dolls. You know, like that's
no.
They would make money. Like that's the thing. There's got to be people out there discovering this shit because it comes out and it's for sex stuff. Like, does someone like what was that rubber supposed to be used for?
What if? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What if it was the other way around? What if they're like literally doing like NASA shit where they're like, okay, we found this amazing rubber and blah blah blah, and it's super light and blah blah. And there's somebody in the back. There's a benefactor in the back going,
really interesting.
Yeah. It's like the president of the company has 2 subsidiaries. Like one is for like tires, and then the other one is literally like the sex doll manufacturing.
But it'd be funny if they were like the guy from NASA's like, we've done it, Eureka, and they explain like the benefit, the benefits to mankind and all this shit there. And there's one guy in the back that he's just like a pencil pusher. He's just one of those guys that does accounting, and he's like,
He's like, that's a good name for a sex doll, Eureka.
Can we fuck it? Like, yes. But is it? Can we fuck it? Is it radioactive? Like,
That's got to be a game show somewhere. Like all of a sudden, it's like everybody's favorite game show. Can we fuck it?
There's so much to process.
Oh, what a good show.
Come on down.
Come on down.
I think the same people that double pick.
Yeah. I love the idea that now it's like Price is Right rules where it's like Nery signs, you're the next contestant on Can We Fuck It? And you're there like
Nery's like, I don't have to pay for it. I'm in.
it's free.
It's free. It's for science.
And you
I'm
start looking
helping
like,
humanity.
my favorite is when they unveil whatever the fucking thing is, like a can of paint, and you're looking behind you to see fucking you see your friends like, yeah, you can fuck it.
Yeah, you can fuck it. Yeah. I'm gonna say
I'm gonna
yes,
say
Bob, we can fuck it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
ooh,
Oh god, I
Yeah.
love it.
your urethra now has pain in it. Now you have lead poisoning. Turns out you can't fuck it.
Turns out this thing was from the
Womp
1950s. It's been sitting there for a long
Womp
Womp.
womp.
and then the dick goes more.
Like the one that like the fuckable meter. It just goes.
All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to are we gonna get to am I the asshole?
The kid crying? The answer is probably I don't know. I don't
All right,
know.
Well,
let's get hold on. Let's explain this to the audience. So every episode we do a segment called Am I the Asshole? Where we go to Reddit and we read Am I the Asshole segment, or we read one of those Am I the Asshole segments and we discuss. We try to get and clear through like some of the ones throughout the week. So we could bring some funny ones to you. So let's get to Am I the Asshole? Am I the Asshole? Yeah.
Do you want me to read it?
I
I have it here. Do you want me to read it?
got it. We're talking about the Build-A-Bear one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for not giving a limited Build-A-Bear to a mother and her screaming child? My husband and I, both 24, male. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. My husband and I love stuff. I thought that was like a typo. Oh no, it's not. Both love stuffed animals and toys. We have every single Pokemon Build-A-Bear, and it's been a little tradition for us to get a new stuffed animal and then a nice dinner somewhere. Just a cute date night. When our local Build-A-Bear was open, we went and got Vaporeon and Jolteon. Very limited amount of people in the store and mandatory masks. This is COVID times, of course. They had a deal to buy one and get one for $10, so of course we did it. The thing is, they had one Vaporeon left and a bunch of Jolteon.
Wait, what's Vaporeon and Ultron?
They're like Pokemon characters. One of them is the water one, and one of them is lightning. Vapor and Jolt, whatever. While we were in line to get them stuffed, I heard a mother complain that they didn't have any Vaporeon in the bin, and the worker said it was first come, first serve. Well, her daughter was throwing a tantrum because it's her birthday, and of course saw Hubs and I with one. My husband has a short fuse, so he bit his tongue while the mother came over. At first, she was sweet, explaining it's her child's 10th birthday, and she really needs it or she'll be screaming all night. I politely declined giving it to the worker to stuff. The mother soon demands that we give it to her, that we, as adults, don't need it. Here's where we may be the asshole. I told her no again, and to step off because she's too close, and my husband says, listen, I don't give a crap if your child needs it. Buy it online. You're really starting to piss me off. Don't make me say no again. It's a waste of our date time. Mm-hmm. My husband is 6'3" and does competitive weightlifting. The woman might have been 5'4". Either way, she said he didn't need to dominate her, and now her daughter will have nothing for her birthday. My husband stands firm that we're not the asshole. My husband stands firm that we're not the asshole, but I still feel a smidgen bad. But I love my Vaporeon. I named Bubbles. Am I the asshole? Added info. Here's bonus stuff. Hubby didn't yell. He's just a very monotone and has resting bitch face. Added info again. My husband's not a woman-hating monster. He's not violent. Worst he would have done is call the security line of the mall. stop acting like he flexed and cracked his knuckles. Also, no, we won't understand when we have kids before we're never, if we have kids, we're never going to. As well, we didn't buy 2 Vaporeons. We bought a Vaporeon and a Jolteon because we had already had a Flareon at home. Her name is Spicy, by the way. Okay, so we have cleared the texture of what's going on.
So can I just say all the FYIs, the afterwards, the bonus stuff?
Yes.
Is they are all added on after reading all the comments because they are getting a ton of shit from everybody saying you're the fucking asshole.
I fully believe they are not. I fully believe they are not.
Wow.
Because look, this is an interesting thing because I am a large man and I have been accused of being aggressive because I disagree. Not because I made a scene or because of anything, just because I'm big. And so I can understand that this man is.
I've got an.
They have said absolutely nothing. He just like, no, get away from us. You leave. Fuck you, asshole. Get away.
I've gotten accused of yelling just because I'm fucking loud. And I'm like, no, I'm not yelling. That's just my fucking regular voice. It's just, that's it. Yeah. So I understand that part. I'm not saying he's the asshole for that. I don't care that he fucking said, or I mean, don't get me wrong. I also think, let me rephrase that. I also think he's the asshole for telling the woman to step off in front of her fucking kid. I think that's an asshole move. But before that, let's say, for the sake of argument, he's not the asshole for that. They're already the asshole for saying no to this fucking kid. It's a kid's birthday, dude. You're a fucking grown-ass man.
Oh,
the same shit that you told her, buy it online. Bitch, why don't you buy it online and be a fucking nice person? Be a nice person.
That's not, well, hold on a second. Because there's not a lot of stuff here about how many other people. They said there were a few people in the store, first come, first serve, et cetera, et cetera. If I am in a position to, like that lady could have potentially ruined it for her, that little girl, with her attitude. If she was like nice or whatever, and they're like, oh, well, we're not really, and then she gets an attitude about it. Oh, you're fucking grown-ups. If someone came up to me like that, I'd be like, well, now extra no.
Yeah, but you already said no when she was nice.
So
exactly, you're already the asshole. I think you're an ass. You're a fucking grown up and you're buying a fucking stuffed Pokemon.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I think there's plenty wrong with you telling a fucking 10-year-old on their birthday no. I think you're an asshole.
I don't think that's true. I think she lied about the birthday thing.
Right.
Oh,
now you're adding information.
I know.
Now you're adding information that you have no basis on. You have no basis on that. Yeah, now you have no basis on that. Now you're
believing what she said.
Now you're being DC Comics movies, and you're not showing us your work. So therefore, I'm going to go ahead and say, all we could do is go based upon the information we have at hand.
Okay.
Now the original poster didn't even question whether it was the kid's birthday or not. Now you, Mike, are adding that. Oh, I don't think it's a kid's birthday. I mean,
you know why? Because I've seen that a million times, and especially like whenever it comes to kids things, they always like people like. There's a whole other subreddit called Choosy Beggars, and it's almost like a trope or like it's a running thing in every one of these exchanges that involve, oh, it's for my kid, it's their birthday, oh, I got cancer, oh, it's all these things. Like they say all of these things so that you'll, oh, can you deliver, oh, please give it to me for free.
What's the downfall on this guy giving this kid, whether or not it's his birthday or not? He's an adult.
We're allowed to not do that. I don't think you're asking
downfall. What's the downfall on him of him falling for that quote unquote trope? What's the downfall for him?
Whatever the fuck he feels it is. Like, I don't think
that's having a kid, you're just an asshole.
Having a kid doesn't make things better for you in any situation. In terms of like,
it doesn't. I'm not. This is not because
I'm not saying I wouldn't do it for the kid. I'm just saying that person has the right to do whatever.
You're not like I've read. And look, flip it around. Let's say it's not a kid. Let's say it's an elderly person, or let's say it's somebody else. Fucking let's say it's a normal, let's say it's another 15-year-old or 18-year-old fucking kid, right? Who wants one. What the fuck? Be nice. You can't be nice.
Maybe
what is it to be nice? Like that's what
I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm saying that You're
There's a
not obligated to do that.
I'm not saying you're obligated. I'm saying you're an asshole because you didn't. That's the thing.
I don't think he is.
I think he is. I think, and there's plenty of people who thought he was the asshole because he put all those extra comments at the end. Oh, by the way, my own, and then that specifically, oh, stop acting like he cracked his knuckles. You see that shit? That means because there was plenty of people commenting, you were the bully, you were the fucking asshole. And they had to put all that information to fucking disclaimer as a no, this is not what happened.
Well, I have to see the rest of it because now you're talking about making it. Now you're making assumptions about what.
No, I'm making educated guesses. I'm making educated guesses because of what why else would you say things like why else would the original poster after the fact come back and edit and be like, by the way, he wasn't going to hurt her. Stop acting like he cracking his fingers. Why else would you say that? Why else would you add that bit of information if somebody didn't accuse him of doing that in the post?
Missy, mediate. What was happening here? Explain a third position because we're not getting anywhere.
Honestly, I don't. Okay, so I kind of see. I'm not trying to purposefully mediate, but I kind of see both sides. But as a single person with no kids, I get sick of hearing like because I don't have a kid, I don't understand. That's fucking
right.
That's really fucking rude because you don't understand what it's like to be single. And I'm not fucking throwing that in your face.
Or what if you can have kids? Or there's a lot of people that assume that, when you have kids, you'll understand. You're like, well, I can't fucking have any. How do you feel right now?
Right. So I don't think that it's a right position for that to be the reason why he's an asshole, just be nice to the kid. Well, okay, but if the lady came at them wrong, she sounds like she was a little pushy.
Because they say that she yelled at she complained to the people, the staff there, about that. Oh, there's no Vaporeons left or whatever. And then he's like, no, it's first come first serve. And it says that she complained to them,
right?
And then she came over to them because she saw that they had one, and it's like, quien te manda? I'm sorry, like you got there late.
I don't think. Nery has convinced me the muscle guy is the asshole, but seeing the pops behind him while calling the guy an asshole for buying the stuffed animal.
Wow. Chris Norfolk, MVP of buying kids shit, and there's nothing but Funko Pops behind Nery signs.
But none of those, there wasn't at any point in time when I bought those Funkos that a kid want one and me say no.
Would you have done that?
Absolutely. I've done it 1,000 times.
For a super rare one that you wanted.
First of all, I don't buy super rare ones. Everybody knows that I buy whatever. But my point is, even ones that I've wanted, I've been at cons or I've been at one that I wanted, and I've had women being like, oh, are you going to take that one? And I'll be like, no, you could have it. And here's the reason why. Not because I'm being chivalrous, okay? Or not solely, not even primarily. The reason why is because in my mind, I'm like, that saves me from making the decision of spending money or not. So I'll be completely honest. I'm not trying to sit here and be like, I'm the fucking shit. But in my mind, I've done that plenty of times where I'll be at cons and be like, I'll be like with like 2 or 3 in my hands. And maybe in my mind at that point, I'm deciding which one I'm going to take, if I'm going to take all 3 or not. And I've had people ask me, are you going to take that one? I'm like, do you want it? And I've given it up without a problem.
Right. But that's a choice.
Yes, it's all a choice. Right. It's not an obligation.
You wouldn't be an asshole if you said, "Oh no,
I feel like I would be an asshole if I said no. I feel like I would be, especially if it was a fucking kid. To me, the kid makes a difference. To me, it makes a difference if it's a kid, if it's a woman. I'm sorry, I'm old fashioned. I think women and children should go first in fucking casualties. Same thing goes for when you're asking.
What are you fucking talking about?
Taking that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think it. Call me old fashioned. If I see a kid,
I would kneel down in front of the child. I would kneel down in front of the child.
That shit. Don't throw a Titanic move like women children first with a fucking toy. Like that's not the thing.
But I think it makes a difference to me. To me personally, it does.
Here's what I would do. I love.
That's my truth. If a man my age is asking me for one, I don't know that I would give it up as quickly as I did for women or children. So that's my truth.
Sure.
When it becomes women and children, I'm like, no, you go ahead, man. You have it.
Here's what I would do.
Elderly people, go ahead, ma'am. Have it.
I would sit down. I would kneel down in front of the child and be like, you're going to learn a lesson about not getting what you want today. And I hope that you take this as not a negative, but rules need to be followed. I'm so sorry, and I hope you guys have a very happy birthday. In fact, why don't you let me buy you some ice cream or some other shit? But you're not getting this Euphoria.
You're gonna learn
A lesson must be learned today, child. Your mom's an asshole, and you're missing out. You should have got here on time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You're gonna learn a lesson. You're gonna learn today.
Hey, can I finish saying my opinion, or
Yeah. I thought you had.
No, I hadn't because I got Nery got upset. But what I will say is that I think that I could understand where the adults were coming from, the non-parent adults, because it's annoying to hear, but the kid, I get it. But it just sounds to me like they could have handled it a little better. It could just be a case where, like, in a split decision, you made an asshole decision, like, and that's it. Like, it's not saying that they would do that every single time, but maybe we don't know the lady's tone, and we don't know, like, a bunch of different things that would add context to it. We just know that the side of the guy who's defending his husband, rightfully so, because that's what you do. But
the daughter was throwing a tantrum. The daughter's an asshole. Kids can be assholes too, Nery. For sure.
Nobody ever said otherwise.
You're gonna learn a lesson. She needed to learn.
I just think it's funny that Mike. I can just imagine Mike like kneeling down on one knee. Come here, kid. I'm gonna teach you something.
It's funny because I've been in situations with Mike in public. We went to a baseball game once where it was like all you can eat.
Oh, right? Yeah.
And then, but in the all you can eat was literally a section. Like you had to buy tickets for the specific section, and it was all you can eat, right? And then, but in order to get all you can eat, you had to go to, again, a specific concession stand.
Wait in line, yeah.
And wait in line, and we're waiting in line, and I think somebody must have apparently jumped the line, right? And I don't know because I'm fucking talking to Mike, so I'm not really paying attention to what's in front of me. And Mike, in his fucking all of his 6'4" Mike fucking frame, I'm talking to him, and he's like, I'm down here to him, and he's like, hey, there's a line. There's a line. And he just fucking yelled like at the top of his lungs, and it was angry. It wasn't like, hey buddy, excuse me, sir, there's a line. Like he fucking yelled with anger. And I remember I'm standing next to him. He's my friend. And I was like, oh, hey. Like I got fucking nervous. I was like, oh shit. And so yeah, none of this behavior surprised. None of this like this hypothetical behavior that he would.
There was a line. If it had been a kid, I'd be like, "Where the fuck is
this hypothetical behavior of how he would act in front of a child?" None of that surprised.
Line. Sorry, first come first serve.
No, but it's not. There's a line. It's hey, there's a line. Like it was a fucking. It was It was this fucking. And I was like, whoa, man, this shit is.
My friend Olivia, she said she commented on Wubro, but she said, "See."
I think she's for assuming. Yes, thank you.
But why there's something, what makes you say she's assuming? She asked.
Right. Why would she asked, but like she didn't ask. She said the kid was throwing a tantrum, and then so the child's 10th birthday, she said she really needs it or she'll be screaming all night. That's what it says in the thing. We're not adding any extra shit.
No problem.
Like she told the people, like, "Hey, sorry, my kid's a piece of shit, but please."
But how is that? You're saying that a 10-year-old screaming is a piece of shit? A 10-year-old on their birthday.
No, her mom said that she's gonna be screaming all night.
No, but you're saying you went from let's not add anything. I'm just gonna read what it says here. Hey, I'm sorry, my kid's a piece of shit.
I'm exaggerating for comedic effect.
He's
adding anything.
Color.
He's adding. He literally said we're not adding anything and then added fucking color.
Well, nobody's perfect, okay?
But the kid, I think here's the thing. The kid throwing the tantrum and then getting what she wants is me saying extra no. Nah, that's not how you get stuff. I don't care if it's your birthday. You just made that. Okay, before you say anything,
you're singing to the choir. I don't teach my kids that. You're singing to the choir. I don't teach my kids.
Exactly. You just had. We started the show with you, or we were talking. I don't remember. I don't know if it was on the show or not. About how you don't raise your voice at kids. That you had to be calm, and your kids know to use their words. Right. How old are your kids?
9 and 6.
Under 10.
Yeah, that's what 9 and 6 means, Michael.
I'm making it a point.
What kind of shit is that? What kind of question is that?
Under 10. Under 10?
There was a question mark behind that. Under 10?
Yeah,
That's what the fuck that means.
Listen,
that's what it means.
can we just all agree?
Put two and two together.
Agree.
Well,
Disagree.
2 and 9 and 10 are different.
But let me tell you, Olivia is a mom, and what she said was that the mom was a bit entitled to just assume that because she asked on behalf of her kid, that her kid was gonna get what she wants, and then to justify that with otherwise she's gonna throw a tantrum. Lady, if you like at 10 years old, if you don't understand the concept of like you may or may not get your
Yeah.
you may or may not get your way,
Boom.
then
Logic.
you're the asshole. Also, I would really like when the world starts like opens up again, Mike. We should go to a baseball game together because I just want to watch you in a social scenario where somebody cuts
you
the
don't even-
line.
it
I just want to
doesn't
sit
be a-
there and, like they did it.
Anywhere
Line.
where there's a line, anywhere where there's a line, and Michael got cut is a situation.
Mm.
He
I wanna
was
watch that.
angry.
No cuts, no butts, no chicken, no whatever it is.
No cuts, no butts, whatever it is.
Whatever it is. What's the phrase? How does it go?
I don't know.
No cuts, no
Wait.
butts, no chicken something, no chicken butts.
No cuts, no butts, no coconuts.
No
That's what Google
coconuts.
says.
Chicken butt is another
I
thing.
have said anything. This could have been like the episode of The Office where Andy's like, "Ba-na-na-na, ba-na-na-na, break me off a pizza."
Nobody say anything.
Christ
Two
our
more
far.
fish. Oh no! Fuck,
No.
there were no butts, no cuts, no.
No cuts, no
Two more
butts,
Yeah.
no butts, no cuts, no coconuts, man. You learn those rules in middle school.
10 is not middle school yet,
Uh,
man. 10 is not middle school.
Well, then her
Oh, yeah.
parents, her mom
they're
is doing
failing
a poor
her.
job of containing her
Hey
10-year-old.
man, I think and here's the other.
And I agree with Olivia that she says if the little girl had been like, "Sir, it's my birthday. Can I have the toy?" And he said, "Back off, punker." Then
Yeah.
by default, automatically. But this
Flexing
isn't
and cracking
this
knuckles.
is an
No,
this is an
here's-
interaction between two adults that didn't agree on how it should work out. And so, if you don't like how you got, then I'm sorry. That's
Here's-
life.
and here's a thing. Here's also an option that people often overlook. Everybody here is an asshole.
Don't
I
have
think everybody's an asshole
Yeah.
in this
Fair
picture. I think everybody's an asshole in this picture. I
Yeah.
think the guy's an asshole for not giving it to the kid voluntarily at that. I think the kid's an asshole for not giving it, to the fucking kid once it was asked. I think the mom's an asshole for asking twice and making the other guy fucking crack his knuckles. I think that guy's an asshole too. I think they're all assholes here. I think the kid's an asshole for not being fucking taught right by his asshole mom fucking saying, "Hey."
I disagree with one point. He's not an asshole for not wanting to give the thing to the kid, whether he did or not. He's an asshole for snapping. If he did snap at the kid, like, get the fuck out of here, man, then that's like a loss of control. But he's not an asshole for saying no to this kid for whatever reason. Like, you can't tell somebody that they're not like that. Those are the rules, man. Like, those are the
I
rules.
think he is an asshole for that.
All right.
Sorry, I think he's an asshole for that. It's
Well-
I've seen plenty of stories, and again, this is an exaggeration to prove a point before somebody goes, "It's not the same thing." Hear me out.
Somebody
Yeah.
when he said somebody, he meant you, Mike.
I seen plenty of stories, especially when the pandemic first broke out, where fucking toilet paper was like, finding a bar of gold. And I've seen plenty of stories, and I never witnessed this in person, but I saw plenty of stories where people would be like, "I saw this guy at the grocery store, and there's an old guy that said, 'Oh, do you guys have any more toilet paper?' And then the guy said, 'It's here,' from his cart, took it and said, 'And look through my cart. If there's anything else you need, have at it. It's yours.'" Like, that's the kind of shit to me. Again, obviously, necessity, pandemic, not the same as a toy. I fucking get it. I understand. My whole point is like, dude, who gives a fuck? Be nice. Be nice. It doesn't cost you anything to be nice. And to me, if you're not nice, you're an asshole. Those are the two fucking options here.
Well,
I disagree.
Okay,
Spectrum.
and
We're
we
talking about
understand.
spectrums. There's
Yes,
spectrums.
and there's a huge asshole, and then kind
Only
of
a
an asshole,
Sith
and then
deals
nice.
in absolutes, brother. I'm sorry.
Again, I'm not dealing in absolutes. I just said huge asshole, kind of asshole, sort of an asshole, nice.
Right.
Those aren't absolutes. That's a spectrum. You may not agree with the spectrum that I see, but that's the spectrum that I see.
Fair enough.
That's
That's the fair enough line of like, okay, assholes for
assholes for
everyone.
everyone.
Opinions are like assholes. Everybody
Can
got
I
'em.
just share a really quick text message that I just got from Nery's wife, Vanessa? She goes, Baloo is your dog, their dog.
My
Mike
dog, yeah.
knows. Yeah. And she just texted me, no context. She goes, I just had a staring contest with Baloo, and then he threw up in his mouth. I don't know who won that exchange. So on that note,
All that means is we're gonna stop recording, and Nery's gonna go have to fucking pick up vomit. That's all that. That's all
he
I heard.
doesn't do vomit.
Can I
So
just tell you, real life story? My wife has in the past woken me up from a dead sleep. I'm talking about fucking dead sleep, woken me up and saying, your dog just threw up. And I will say, okay. And she has told me, go clean it. And this is like 4:00 in the morning, type of dead. And I'm like, what? And then go clean it. I'm like, what are you fucking talking now? And she said, yes. I go, why don't you? She goes, it bothers me. And I go, well, then fucking you clean it. And she said, and I quote, vomit is not my thing. Oh, no, wait. The quote was, I'm not a fan of, that's what it was. I'm not a fan of vomit.
Commas is not my thing. Vomit,
And I was like,
she's not a fan.
and I was like, I'm not a fan of vomit. I'm like, who the fuck is a fan of vomit?
I mean,
Thank
hey,
God you woke me up, honey.
Let's
Thank
not
God
judge-
you woke me up because I'm the hugest fan of vomit. Thank God.
well, let's not kink shame anybody. Some people are actually into that shit. So coming around full circle.
That's not a kink shame. That wasn't a kink though. That was her being like super comfortable and not wanting to get the fuck out of bed.
She was already out of bed. That's the whole thing. She
It's-
literally
yeah.
was out of bed and she fucking woke me up from a dead slumber to tell me to go
Wow.
pick up the vomit. And I'm like,
She's not a fan, Neri. She's not a fan.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
I bet there's a
There's a
Patreon.
For
Patreon.
sure. OnlyFans, baby. OnlyFans. The free one is her doing the finger, and then the what you pay for is when it comes out.
Well, I was gonna have a snack after this, and now I'm not. So thank you for that.
All right.
When you
Anyways,
eat the snack,
we gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta get this going. Thank you guys for checking us out. Checking out the What's Up Bro podcast. If you are an audio listener, you should have seen the video because this shit is hilarious. You can still catch the video. Go back and watch the video on Facebook or on YouTube. Wubro Pod on either one of those things. So make sure you guys look us up, like us, subscribe to us. Chris, thank you very much for chiming in with your
Oh my gosh.
MVP, baby. MVP.
Yeah.
with your comments. You get the MVP of the night. Make sure Chris check out our YouTube because we are also on YouTube. Check us out there. Check out Mike's other podcast on the
Missing Sock. Missing Sock.
Missing
Podcast
Sock Network. Make sure you check out. He has Mike Contextualizes the Universe, which is him going through the MCU and talking about what's going on during
It's
those
good.
times on the MCU.
It's fun.
Check out my other
Definitely.
podcast called Nery Contextualizes, Mike Contextualizing the Universe. So I listen to every episode of Mike's Contextualizing the Universe, and then I contextualize what he's saying and talk about whether I agree with it or not.
Mhm.
Check out Missy's writing at Missy the Writer, MissyWrites.com, and then at Missy the Writer on Instagram. So make sure you check out Missy's writing and check out the other podcasts on the Geek Bro Network, such as the Better Let Me Tell You, the Mount Geekmore podcast, and Childlike at Best with Mike Valdez, and A Dose of Ellie. So make sure you guys check that out. And it's geekbro.net. And then Mount Geekmore is also found on the Helium Comedy Podcast Network, which is heliumpresents.com. You guys have been a lot of fun. Thank you very much. Let us know who the asshole in this episode was. I think it was Mike.
Oh my god.
I think it was Mike too.
I think it was Mike too.